So, coming at you at the speed of 67,000 miles an hour, moving 40 times faster than a speeding bullet, this is the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. Coming to bring you the Zohar for today. Today is the Zohar. This is Parshas Vayeshev. It's on page Kuf Kaf Dalet in the Matok M'dvash. And the Zohar, it's on page Dav Kuf Tzadi Amid Beis. So here we are. We're about to begin the Zohar. And the Zohar begins like this. We are at the bottom of the page and we're going to be the Rat Matok M'dvash, and we reserve the right to skip some of the Matok M'dvash if it just repeats the Zohar. So he said, V'omar od masha kosov. That's where we're at the bottom of page Kuf Kaf Dalet. V'yovu habayis la'asos malachto. And he came to the house to do his work. All the remes of this particular pasuk is coming to give us an allusion, the Beis HaMidrash to a Beis HaMidrash to a study house, Shuhu Beisu Shel Adam, which is really the house where a person belongs. Being the Shtad Ba'Raisa, the Be'evet B'Kuda D'Raisa, Kadei La'asok B'Torah, in order to work on Torah, La'asos Mitzvahs of Torah, and actually to learn how to do the mitzvahs of the Torah. Dihu Malachta the Bar Nash B'Hai Alma, because this is the work of a man in this world. V'keva the Ividna the Bar Nash B'Hai Alma, who avided the Kujabarihu. And since we understand that what a person has to do in this world is really the task that he needs to do for Kodesh Baruch Hu. A boy lay lebar nash the behevet the kifa ka'ari b'kol sitra. A person has to be as strong as a lion to protect himself from all sides. So he says this from the Ramak, and they said l'chein tzar ka'adam lechiyos gibor ka'ari b'kol inyan, of every single part of him, he has to be strong like a lion. Begin to lo yishlot aloy sitra achra, so that the other side, the chitzonius, should not have control over him. Lo yacho lemifte lay, and not be able to deduce him. Kadei shelo yishlot olav sitra achra v'lo yuchol leptoso, in order to seduce him. V'omer, and he says aval machsiv achra, but what comes after this? He says v'ein ish, there is no man. Pirush lis gava de yakol the kible de yetzahara. V'yigach be karva k'dekol yeus. Matuk translates. Ein isha yakum k'neged the yetzahara. There's nobody that can stand up to the yetzahara. V'yaroch imo milchoma, and to spread himself out in a war, not a battle, but a whole war. Karoy, like he should. L'osos the Baal Tshuva, to make himself into a Baal Tshuva. Behind the azivas achet the gamri, that is to live up hate completely. My orche the Yetzahar, because how does the Yetzahara work? Ma darchosh Yetzahara, Kevin the Chamed the Leis Bar Nash Koim the Kable. So he sees the Kible. So he sees that since there's nobody out there to fight him, La Gocha Be Karva, and to also bring him to actually engage him in an all-out war. Let's skip to the Zohar. Biyad Viet Pesehu Bebigdo. So immediately going back to the story of Yosef. Remember that Yosef represents Yisod. Yosef represents the bracha, the source of the bracha that comes to the nukva. So and grabs. So then what does he do? He grabs a hold of his garment, shikva eme and lamor, and he says and he says, lay with me. So what does it mean when it said that grabbed hold of his garment? Begin to kad shalit Yetzahara lay the barnash, because when the Yetzahara controls a man, the shekasher Yetzahara shalit ala adam iskim lay bekashid lay the bushe misalsa b'sa'are. So he gets a hold of him, his garments, that is his outermost qualities, what he looks like and how he is. That's called kitzonius. Mifatehu, so he starts to seduce him. Sheyasakein atzmo, that he should rebuild himself. V'yikshot as levusho, and put adornments on his clothing. V'yasalsa b'sa'ara, curl his hair. Because in this way he will be considered to be important and honored amongst people. So it makes himself look good. Now this is, of course, we talked about Yosef. And reading into it, I saw in the Vilna Gaon the other day that he was saying that when it says that Yosef was lost in the field and he was looking for his brothers. So he says over there, the word field, Sada refers to Malchus. So this Malchus goes in different ways. There's also a Malchus, a reflection of the Malchus, which is Chitzonius, which in Kabbalah is called the Kali Noga, the Klipa of Noga, which is a mixture between good and bad. So therefore, by allowing the good part to grab over to his good part, then it's possible to bring the bad part along with it as well. And as he is lost in this Malchus, in this femininity, this is where he runs into his brothers. Now, there's a whole reading about Yosef being protecting his bris, but also at the same time curling his hair. He's a heck of a good-looking guy. This is what it's written. So that's where she grabbed him by his garment, and she said, "Lie down, Imi, with me." But so the Lomer wants to say, "Is the bak Imi, cling to me." Tistabak Imi, with so the Lomer, maskil bakalos. So she starts out with something light. She is noah begufo, so that she admire what a beautiful body he has, babupuloshav, and how he's beautifully dressed. Shazechot techilas hazmanas alavera. So this is how a person gets started into an avera, and what is he talking about with the female element of the other side? Because in this world he gets to start to develop a proud heart. And that's where she says to him, "Lie with me. He's so gorgeous." So let's say a person who's a tzaddik. Misgaver connecto, so he strengthened himself, corresponding to this continuous attempt to seduce him. And he starts fighting him in a war. Maksiv Yazvo Bigdo Biadva. So what is it written? It read that he left his garment in her hand. Viadas Vietza the Chutz, and he ran, he fled, and he went out. Pirush Yishbokle, so Yishbokle, the Hainu, Sheyipshot Begodav, that he remove his outer garments that are so beautiful, Hanoim, Viazim Besalsa Besaro, and give up making his appearance look so gorgeous, working on his hair and making sure that he looks just right in the mirror. So what you have to do, as what Rav Schick always said, he says that you have to change the channel. Even sometimes your thoughts and everything are so powerfully going in the wrong direction, you could stop, look someplace else. Because when the Yetzer Hara sees that a man is starting to fortify himself and turning away, so what happens is you turn away from the Yetzer Hara. You start going in a different direction. But the Yetzer Hara is not done. It's because the Yetzer Hara can come at you in a different way. Maybe something you hate, maybe something else that would drive an emotion in the wrong direction and get you into dinim. So therefore, it's necessary to run as far away from it as you can. Begin to ishtazva minei v'lo yishlot, so that you should abandon it and not have it get a hold of you. Kedei lehinatzu, to save yourself the gamri v'lo yishlot of klal, it shouldn't have any control of you at all. Ka'ayin she'asa Yosef etzadik, which is the problem that Yosef ran into, going the wrong direction, and all of a sudden he's there in the wrong, very wrong place, and he has to run from it, and that's what Yosef decided did. So now we go to page Kuf Kaf Vav, at the top of the page in the Matok M'dvash. The Zohar says, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak says like this: Zeminin inen sidikai lemachna the Yetzer Hara kachad tur rabrava. Translation: Asidim et tzaddikim, in the future the tzaddikim are destined, the roses of Yetzer Hara kahar gavoa. They are destined to see the Yetzer Hara as a tremendously high mountain. Hatam hu, what's the reason? You call her godel mechavera yitzro godel b'menu, because anyone who is great, his Yetzer Hara is going to be great as well. Nishmasa Gavoha, when a person has a neshama from a very high place, the umas there corresponding to that, Gam Yitzra Gadol, then his Yetzahara is going to be Gadol too, going to be also great. Therefore, in the future world, Kasher Yabur HaKodesh Baruch has Ruach HaTuma min haaretz, when Hashem removes the Ruach HaTuma from the world, Az v'yasmahu v'yemro eich yechilnu la'achvi alei l'tur v'chadeni law. So then Yismalchus, the man, this person who's the tzaddik, he will wonder, this tzaddik will wonder v'yomro, and they'll say like this: how can we ever conquer a mountain which is so tremendously high? So the Rishayim are destined to see him, that is who, the Yetzahara, Daki Kahuta T'Sa'ara. For Hasidim, Rishayim, so the Yisayim in the future, at the end of time, I guess, the Rishayim to see the Yetzahara as something very, very thin, very small, like a Chut T'Sa'ara, like the thread of a hair. Hatam, what's the reason? Because their Yetzahara, who cotton could be Eric cotton dishmasim. So he says the opposite. These are people who have a neshama from a very low place. And as a result of that, they see everything in lowness. But the tzur, the rock, his deeds are always pure. He called Rachov Mishpat, because everything that he does is balanced out in the way that it's supposed to be. So the Rishayim, he said, Rishayim Yismalchus, the Rishayim are going to look at this time, in the future world. They're going to look at this Yetzahara, and the Omer, lo yicholna lekvosh l'chut asara. How was it that we weren't able to get a control of this Yetzahara, which is so dark, which is like the thin, as thin and as small as the dimensions of a hair? Ilan yivkun ve'ilan yivkun. So both the tzaddikim, who look at the Yetzahara as a tremendously difficult mountain to climb, and the Rishayim, who look at the Yetzahara as basically nothing, they both will cry. So let's go skip the parenthesis, and it says, "V'kudsher b'richu yivayir le ma'alma." The Kodesh Baruch Hu yivayir as a Yetzahara bin ha'olam. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is destined to remove the Yetzahara from the world. V'yikos le'neihu, and he will slaughter it in their presence, before their eyes. V'yishkot zedeineihem, v'lo yishlot od ba'alma. He wouldn't have control of the world anymore. V'lo yishlot od ba'olam, v'yachmun tzedikaya v'yachedun. Then the tzeddikim will see this, and there'll be tremendously joy. So he said, "V'yira tzeddikim as a Yetzahar shachod v'yismachu." They'll see that it's been slaughtered, and they'll be so much in joy. Kamadat Omer, how much you have to say like this? Ak tzeddikim yodu shmecha. Only the tzeddikim will know your name. His gavar Yetzahara. So why is it they can do that? Because they fought the battle with the Yetzahara, and in the end they won. Yeshvu Yusharim as Panecho, that is, those people who are straight. Yusharim Yeshvu Lefanecha Lahalalecha, they will sit before you in order to praise you. This is the work of the tzaddik in the world. We are talking about Yosef and tzaddik. Represents the bris, represents the flow of all kedusha that is to be planted in the nukva dezah, in the female aspect of Zeranpin, and to bless us all. That's the Zohar for